I got some juicy news for you guys. Okay, let me go on ahead and say this first before I get into the whole spiel about NCAA being dropped, or EA Sports being dropped by NCAA. I am doing this video because I woke up, looked at my Twitter, and saw that I had, I don't know, close to 100 mentions about NCAA dropping EA Sports from being able to make a NCAA branded college football game. And to that, I say thank God that we finally got a step in the right direction toward what could possibly be us getting other developers into making a game. Now, I also want to say that I'm making this video so that you guys can have those grounds to, if you want to leave feedback or if you want to talk about the situation and, you want to talk to other people about the situation. We could all come here, check out the comments, and just get a little back and forth going with each other. As long as you just try to keep it clean. Just don't try to rip each other's heads off, please, and we'll be good to go. Try. Trust me, it works. All right, so let me read the article, and throughout me reading the article, I'm just going to give my opinions, and at the end, I'm going to wrap it up with a major opinion that probably is going to include Madden. So here we go. NCAA will not renew licensing contract with EA Sports. NCAA 14 is one of the hottest games on the market right now. I highly doubt that. But big changes to the next year's edition of the game may be on the horizon as NCAA has decided not to renew its relationship with EA Sports, according to NCAA press release. I wonder if this has something to do with EA treating NCAA like their football stepchild. So there were a couple of tweets from ESPN's Darren Rovell. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. I never came across that name before. All right. EA is on, EA on life of college football franchises. And he quotes, "We are already working on a new game for next generation consoles." He later tweets, or someone else tweets, Brett McMurphy tweets, "EA Sports will still have college football video game beyond 2014. It just won't be affiliated with NCAA." He also says first non-NCAA affiliated EA Sports college football game will be called College Football 15, sources told ESPN. Or sources told at ESPN. Now, I want to say something there, but it actually is already in the article, so I'll just keep going. And I'll say it once we get to that point. The deal between NCAA and EA Sports was set to expire June 2014. But the decision was made to announce the end of their partnership now, per release. We are confident in our legal position regarding the issue or regarding the use of trademark video games or trademark in video game. Look, man, my eyes ain't that damn fast. Shut up. All right. But given the current business climate and cost of litigation, we determined participating in this game is not in the best interests of the NCAA. So basically, the NCAA is saying that it's not good for the business. And wrestling fans understand what I say when I understand what I mean when I say that. Anyway, the press release also mentioned that the NCAA has never licensed the use of current student athletes' names or likenesses, nor has it licensed the trademark of member colleges and universities. Ultimately, it seems as though the NCAA is pulling out of this situation to avoid any type of litigation that could ultimately arise from it. Now, in defense to EA, I can't remember them ever using college or current college football players' names in their games. I don't remember that happening. Now, with Ultimate Team coming out, it seems as though the NCAA was already, backing out or, not going to renew their contract even before Ultimate Team was announced. But, if some people would like to say, hey, it might have something to do with Ultimate Team, no, those guys are out of contract. Are in contracts with EA, and they are out of college already. Cover athletes, Denard Robinson and such. These guys are signed contracts and are already finished with their college career, sports wise. So once they're finished with that, they're free to do it as they please. They're college students, but they're no longer college athletes, so they're free to go as they want. Let's see. Getting back to the article. Aside from former college football players who are no longer bound by the NCAA, see, pretty much what I said. Player names are not used in EA Sports NCAA football video games. All FBS teams are featured in the game, though, and their rosters are completely compromised of players whose numbers and positions correspond to their real-life counterparts. In other words, the players themselves may not be in the game, but college football fans can safely make the connection between the video game and real life for the most of college football's top players. Now, I can say this. I don't think that this is illegal, what they're doing. Using the college players' number, their team, their accessories, their skin color, almost their facial structure. EA tries to get spot on with that. And, if they just don't have a name in there, they can just say it's any old body. And, of course, they don't do it for, not every player is accurate. It's usually just the top handful of guys, which they go that extra mile for, to give that variety of player. But EA makes no stop to being able to get those roster updates or those rosters created by guys that put the names in the games where they could pretty much play with it. And while EA is still making bank at the thought of guys saying, oh, we don't have the names, oh, that's fine, we could download the rosters and we'll have the names. EA is kind of making bank on that and not paying college players, even though they're still, in a sense, using the college players. So, they're making bank off of that. And if EA was smart, they would they would have pushed the heck out of the game, and would have made major bank without having to pay any of the players, which they still aren't going to do. They're still not going to pay the players, but. Well, now they're not going to pay anybody because they're not going to have the game. All right. Not that they're not going to have the game. The game is still coming out, but with restrictions. Let me continue on. So I'm not ready to give my opinion yet. Let's see. EA Sports and NCAA football have had a partnership since 1993 when Bill Walsh College Football was released to the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. I had both of those. This decision could bring an end to the combination that has worked for more than 2 decades. There is still hope for a resolution, though, as NCAA statement says that member colleges and universities will have to independently decide whether to continue EA Sports business arrangements in the future. That means EA Sports will have to reach individual contracts with all the schools for a potential NCAA 15 game to remain unchanged. Now, here's the kicker. Here is something that's major key. Something similar happened between NCAA and EA Sports regarding NCAA basketball franchise. No resolution was ever made on that front, as there hasn't been a college basketball game since NCAA Basketball 10 back in 2009. Hardcore fans of the EA Sports NCAA football franchise certainly hope that doesn't meet the same fate. I'm going to go on ahead and disagree with you there. People want another company to have NCAA. People want another company to have the football or the NFL license as well. And people are leaning toward NCAA. Well, not NCAA. What am I saying? People are kind of leaning toward 2K on that one. And that's mainly because like there's no other companies stepping up, you know. So we know EA and we know 2K. That's it. But let me say this. EA could be in serious trouble with the amount of money that they're losing. And they've lost a lot of money. For them to have to individually contact and contract each school, and we're talking over 120 schools here, including, you know, lower tiered schools or whatever, that would cost them a ton of money. You got that with the possibility of, you know, not having the names in the game. That's also a strike to their money. You also, you know, aren't backed by NCAA. You know, just hearing college football 15, that kind of sounds, you know, Sega Genesis-ish or Super Nintendo-ish. I can't even say the words right. But that's a car in my background. Don't worry about that. But they can do it, but it'll be a generic game. It's kind of what NFL 2K5 went through when EA got the deal with the NFL. Everybody was saying, oh, all right, you know, they could just make a generic football game, you know, no teams, you know, no players, all generic. And, you know, the game will sell. I mean, it was a good game, the game will sell. And they couldn't do that, and then they tried to do it about 3 years later, and the sales numbers didn't back it up. And it's because they weren't able to have the backing of the NFL or the teams or the players. So that is very, very instrumental. Now, if EA doesn't come in terms or get a contract signed with each of those individual teams, might meet the same fate. Now, the only reason why it is really important is because EA has been losing money and losing a lot of it. Another thing that doesn't help them is the fact that they've been voted 2 years in a row the worst company in America. Even worse than Bank of America. And I don't know what the problem is with Bank of America. I love Bank of America. I use Bank of America, but whatever. And for those of you who don't believe me on that whole EA Sports being voted the worst company in America, I'll put a link in the description for you to check it out. Trust me, I'm not lying to you, nor am I just fabricating fabricating a lie is the same thing, but nor am I fabricating just to make myself sound good. When I made that rant video, I'm dead serious. Voted 2 years in a row, worst company in America. So here's my thing. I think that if EA Sports would have stopped treating NCAA like their stepchild game and actually pushed and promoted the thing as much as they do Madden, if not more, then maybe this wouldn't happen, because NCAA is saying, hey, you know, we're losing money on this too. And if you guys can't get your head out of your asses and stop making the same game every year and actually promote the darn game and actually make the game better, you know, or get people to buy this game, then we're backing out. There's no more money to be made. You guys are losing money. Why should we continue to let you use our brand? Because in the end of the day, you're making us look bad. And that's what EA is doing. Now, here's the thing. What if this happens with Madden? NFL decides, man, these guys are losing money, you know, and they're using our name. We giving them every backing that we possibly could. And they're looking bad out there. Voted worst company in America. X, Y, and Z. We might need to back out too. Now, does this mean that no games will be made? No. But it definitely means that sales would tank. And it'd be like they're just pouring more and more and more game into development and publishing that they can't afford to pour into it, hoping to get it back. But if they don't have those names, then it's pointless. What the hell is all this banging going on around here? Yeah, they won't have it. So it'd be like, a big old waste of money, which is what they're doing with a couple of their games and a couple of their modes. They're wasting money on Ultimate Team. And I say that this way. Ultimate Team could be a huge money maker that they're just not putting the time and effort and promotion into. They're not promoting it. Pretty much the people that play Ultimate Team are the people that have been playing Ultimate Team for the past couple years or the past few years that are the diehards of that mode of the game. But they're not bringing in the other people that play the other parts of the game into it. Now, a lot of guys have noticed the big old cash grabs that EA is doing with Ultimate Team this year in NCAA and possibly going to be in Madden as well, where it's like, all right, you pretty much darn near, if you can't make any coins, you have to pay for your packs, and you have to pay a pretty penny for your packs. That's a cash grab, and that right there should be the first sign of proof that EA is losing money. Because now they're almost forcing you to pay money. And they're going to do the same thing in Madden. Force you. But if they would promote the game and get other guys, like I want to say that Ultimate Team, when it comes to Madden, Ultimate Team is probably 20% of the pie. And when I say 20% of the pie, I don't mean like money pie. I mean 20% of that. 20% of the Madden people play Ultimate Team. That's what I'm trying to say. So that means, like, maybe the other 80 play, they're all split up amongst the other modes. Probably about 60% is split up through, online. And then, and that includes the Dynasty and things like that. And then you got, another 20% that's probably just playing offline just to have fun or playing with their friends or whatever. But if they could possibly get, and I'm just throwing that number 20% out there, if they could get that 20% to 50%, imagine the increase in money that they would have. They wouldn't be worried about anybody. NCAA, NFL, they wouldn't be worried about any of these people dropping their licenses. But we have a step in the right direction. If 2K comes and swoops up that licensing deal, woo! I'll let you guys decide.